Hello there. Hi. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about how the NLP technique of pacing and leading can actually help you in your business to generate more leads and hopefully close down sales. Now, I remember in my childhood, I would be taken to a local market with my parents, and there would always be someone, normally a mature gentleman, who'd be on an open market stall and trying to sell something. Now, I remember quite clearly that there was a gentleman in one of the local markets that would always try to sell teacups and saucers, and he made it sound so brilliant. The way that he would be very animated, he would project his voice. He would use good eye contact all the way around. He would have crowds of people all over. And when you think about it, it was just a teacup and saucer, and they weren't. I wouldn't say they're high quality, but and then he would charge a pretty high price for them. But he had lots and lots of people openly handing him the money and saying, "Yeah, brilliant, brilliant." And I'm thinking that what this gentleman, when I reflect back now, what this gentleman was doing was he was using pacing and leading to try to get leads, to try to get that interest, try to get that rapport, and essentially generating those sales by going through all the benefits. I mean, it's amazing how he went into such intricate detail about the patterning, who did it, where it was from, why the cups were very, very unique in terms of their shape and design and texture and material, and also even the size of the cup, the shape of the handle. It was absolutely amazing. It was like a performance, and all he was doing was selling teacups. He probably bought them for maybe a fraction of the cost, but still he got those sales, and he was there every Saturday when my mom and dad would take me to the market, and this gentleman was there, and his loyal sons were always behind, always watching. So from an NLP point of view, he was modeling excellence in his own way. He was modeling excellence in leading and pacing for his sons to take over the business, I'm sure. And then he was also with the audience, he was pacing and leading to try to get the actual sales. Now, one thing I want to mention as well is, have you ever thought about, as a salesperson, have you ever thought about planning your dialogue with a potential client? Now, I'm very, very used to doing planning. I mean, I'm a qualified teacher, trainer, been running courses for many, many years, in coaching now. And sometimes you have to, I find it very useful to plan your session with a client or plan session with your students. And if you think about it, the whole lead generation process, it is a conversation, it's interaction, it's dialogue, it's questions and answers. It's about predicting what the other person's going to say. Planning your questions. Are they open questions, precision questions? Are they closed questions? So rather than going into a potential selling situation, with all respect, completely blind and not doing any pre-planning, then I believe then you're not making the most of how you could pace and lead that person. When I work with a client or with a student, I always want to pace and lead them to complete certain objectives, that they want to give up alcohol. For example, if I'm working with a life coaching client, they want to get rid of an unwanted personal habit. From a training point of view, teachers in colleges want to know how to make their students more resilient and more confident, so they can then learn more maths and English to help them along their own life journey. So these situations, these pathways that I'm responsible for, which create learning and transformation, they also involve pacing and leading. So I try to have an incremental approach to my planning, which ensures that it gets to the right destination. And I'm just wondering whether you could consider maybe planning your utterances and maybe even writing them out, showing them with another salesperson. At this midpoint, is it getting warmer? Are you getting to that stage where you've paced it enough? You've increased the pace. You're leading them. You know, are you using suggestions? And suggestions are very powerful to send that hypnotic message to the unconscious part of the client's mind. You know, wouldn't it be fantastic to just sit, you know, on your sofa and you put your feet up and you've got your saucer and cup, you know, in your hand with a lovely cup of tea. Vision, you know, this gentleman was amazing. He was brilliant. You know, he was using he probably didn't know he was in the 70s, he was using NLP, but he definitely was. You know, sometimes you only put a name to things after the event. And it's definitely for me, he was using pacing and leading. So have a think about trying to plan the conversations or utterances, particularly from your end as the salesperson, the one who's driving the sales, predict the responses, check with another colleague, and then you play out those parts of the script and make sure that, you know, it may well require you putting on a bit of a performance. Okay, maybe just getting a little bit out of your own shell and using more better eye contact, using more hand movements, using more animation, you know, using more smiling, because smiling is very powerful. Maybe an anchor to lean forward a little bit. I mean, this gentleman would always be going towards the audience, you know, showing the cups. So he was using an anchor to switch to the buying state, because then, you know, in the hope that people are more inclined to buy, because he's making more. He's closing the physical gap to try to get that sale. Okay, everybody. So I hope you found that useful. So think about planning, pacing and leading as an NLP technique to help you generate more leads.